Hi class, how are you today? That's a smile. I saw a smile. I know I saw it. The learning target for today is to solve a system of equations with substitution when one variable is solved. So this is part one of substitution. We'll do two parts, and substitution is the second of three methods to solve systems of equations. We just did graphing, now we're doing substitution, and then we'll follow up with elimination. So, the scale, you're a 3 if you can solve a system with substitution when one variable is solved. Not necessarily solved for a number, but just solved in some way, like y equals 2x plus 5. If you've got that, you can solve it. Number 2, you can solve for only one variable of a system. When you're doing substitution, you have to find both x and y. But if you can only find one of them, then you're at a 2. You're a 1 if you can solve a system if one variable is solved for a number. So if you have x equals 5 for one of the equations, then you can solve it. And 0, you cannot solve systems with substitution. Let's get started. Alright, so here's our first system. 3x minus 4y equals 23 and x equals 5. And we're going to solve this using substitution. So what we need to do is start off with, we have x equals 5 here. So we want to take the knowledge that x equals 5 and substitute x into the other equation with 5. So instead of saying 3x, we're going to say 3 times 5. So let's rewrite this then. So we have 3 times 5 minus 4y equals 23. And then we then need to solve for y. So 3 times 5 is 15. Minus 4y equals 23. Then we need to subtract 15 from both sides. So on the left side, that'll leave us with negative 4y. Remember, once again, that minus stays at a negative, so you have to bring it down with the 4y. And then that equals 23 minus 15 is 8. So then we need to divide both sides by negative 4, and we get y equals 2. And this one started off nicely, that x is already solved for you. So x equals 5, y equals 2 is your answer. And if you were to put it in as a point for a coordinate, it would be the point 5, 2. So all substitution is just substituting one of your variables in for the other, so you can solve the equation using only one variable instead of two. Let's move on to the next problem. So in this problem, we have 2x plus 3y equals 2, and y equals 3x minus 25. So, as I mentioned, one equation is already solved for you. However, it's not as easy as it was in the other one where it was just a variable equals a number. This one is y is solved in terms of x. So it's a few more steps. So what we have to do is replace y, substitute it, with 3x minus 25. So we rewrite the top equation, 2x plus 3, and then instead of saying y, we say what y equals. 3x minus 25, and then that equals 2. So now we have to drop down the 2x and distribute this 3. 3 times 3x is 9x, and 3 times negative 25 is a negative 75, equals 2. Now we can combine like terms here and say 2x plus 9x is 11x, minus 75 equals 2. Now it's a two-step equation, so we can add 75 to both sides, and that gives us 11x equals 77. So we divide both sides by 11, and that gives us x equals 7. Now that we have x equals 7, we have to bring it back to this equation here where y was already solved and substitute x in. So that gives us, over on the other side, y equals 3, and now instead of x we say 7 minus 25. So y equals 21 minus 25, so y equals negative 4. So our answer is x equals 7 and y equals negative 4, and as an ordered pair, it would be the point 7, negative 4. Alright, so we start with our system, our two equations. And so we have the x equals 2y plus 4 and 2x minus 4y equals 8. So the first equation already has x solved for us. So let's put that in our box. Now we want to replace it into the second equation. So we say 2, and then in parentheses, we say 2y plus 4. Then we finish the rest of the problem. 4y equals 8. Now, since we're substituting that in, we distribute. So distributive property gives us 4y plus 8, and then minus 4y equals 8. Then we combine like terms. So 4y minus 4y, that will give us 0y, or just 0. The 4y's cancel each other out. They're just gone now. So now we're just left with 8 equals 8. If you try to solve the equation and your variables disappear, you end up with one of the special cases. So if you get a number equal to itself, the special case is going to be infinitely many solutions. And then you're done right there. You don't have to move on anymore. You don't have to solve for x and y. As soon as you find out that it's infinitely many solutions, you're done. Problem's over. Alright. Now to the next special case. Alright, so now again we have two equations, and just to make this quick, I've already solved one for you. Y is already solved. So we put the y equals in a box, and we rewrite the other equation, negative 15x plus 5, and then instead of y, we say what y equals, 3x plus 9. And then finish the equation off, equals 30. Then we use the distributive property, negative 15x plus 15x plus 45 equals 30. Then combine like terms, negative 15x plus 15x, they cancel again. They're gone. So we're left with 45 equals 30. Now, does 45 equal 30? No. So, since 45 does not equal 30, this is the other special case, where it's no solution. So if you end up with a number that equals itself its infinitely many solutions, if you end up with a number that's not equal to itself, it's no solution. Now I did say you could say the number of solutions. Remember, if you actually get a solution where you have x and y, that is one solution. So those are the three types you can have. One solution, which is you actually solve the problem to get an x and a y. No solution if the numbers end up not equaling itself after the variables disappear, or infinitely many solutions. The variables disappear and you have a number equal to itself. Alright, now time for the sponge activity. Solve each system of equations for x and y. So on number 1, you have 6x plus 5y equals 1, and x equals negative 4. So one variable is already solved for you as a number. And number 2, 2x minus 3y equals negative 2, and y equals negative 4x plus 24. So in this case, you have a variable solved for you in terms of x. So solve each equation for x and y, noticing that this one already gives you x for number 1. So in that one, you only have to solve for y. That's it for the video. Once again, please make sure to take notes on the entire lesson, attempt the sponge, go back to the beginning, circle 3, 2, 1, or 0 to rank yourself. Take a picture of all your notes, submit them all to eBackpack, and have a good night.